This is Being Awesome with Rob Springer.
Hey guys, it's Rob, and this is Being Awesome, the podcast about loving Transformers and having fun. This week in Awesome, holy crap, there is a new clear Q TF Starscream. Everyone knows I love me some Q TF toys, and this one is exclusive to Toys R Us. From what I understand, if you buy 5 Q TF toys at Toys R Us in Japan during this promotion, you will get the clear Starscream. Now, usually I'm not that big into clear exclusives or what have you, but Q TF gets a special mention, as in I seen that and I was like, ooh, I want to get that, ooh, and I probably will never get it. Or if I will, it'll probably be some sleight of hand luck, but I'd like to get it. I love my QTFs. In fact, I'm waiting on an order from Big Bad Toy Store to come in. I've got Red Alert and Sunstreaker. I've been waiting for them for about 3 days now. But whenever I order from BBTS, I use the Super Saver shipping, so I'll probably have it by Friday. Also, this week in Awesome. Okay. Every week I pick on myself for when, I start sputtering words, whatever. This week's regular problem I have when I'm recording is all of a sudden I can't breathe enough and I start breathing super heavy while I'm recording. I don't know why my body hates me so much, but I think I need to take my body out behind the building and beat the crap out of it. Get yourself in line, body. Anyway, BotCon's pre-registration went up. And with it, also went a lot of promotional art for the card art and box art for the toy set, the Just Predicus Combiner Team set. And you know what? It looks nice. It's really good art. I think it's Marcelo I can't never say anyone's name right. I think Marcelo did the art, and he's a really good artist. And yeah, it looks great in the art. And I wasn't too... When I first started seeing those toy reveals, I like the Ravage and the other toys. I was like, well, ooh. But now that I'm seeing these completed images are showing up, it's not so bad. BotCon, of course, taking place in April. And I was tempted to really go because, it's in Kentucky and that's like a 6-hour drive. Unfortunately, it's also in April, which is like tax time. And I'm kind of like, ooh, shouldn't be taking out-of-town trips at tax time. I'd really like to go, though. I haven't been to a BotCon since 2010. And, last year, it feels weird saying last year because it's just June. But last year, the 2015 con, sure, just like everyone else, they kind of rubbed me a little negatively, too, by the way they kind of handled some things. But I'm over it because everyone's human and people are allowed to make mistakes. And from what I can tell, they're trying harder this time. So with me, all is forgiving. Other people may be still mad at them. I'm not. Like I said, these companies are human. And if their customers are happy, then albeit to them. I haven't been to a BotCon since 2010. I'd like to go to another one, just that it seems like every single one's either too far away or at a really odd time for me. And that's kind of annoying because I'd like to go to one again. Right now, I'm still not 100% sure if I can go to TFCon in Chicago in fall. It's a year away, so I can't make any concrete plans yet. It's just one of those things where I'm like, the one at 14, that was a pretty big trip. Should I really do that? I got a lot of local cons I plan to go to this year. Of course, Joanna, it's coming up here in about a month and a half away. And, there's Atlanta. I live in the Atlanta area. I live in Fairburn. I live just outside of Palmetto, Georgia, like Fairburn entering Palmetto. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Georgia area, if you watch The Walking Dead, I live right outside of Woodbury. That just kind of giving you guys a pointer there. The Atlanta area has a ton of cons all year long. I got Joe Lanta. There's Anime Week in Atlanta. I've never been to that. I'd like to check that out. There's a monster convention. I forget the name of it in October. Dragon Con's here every Labor Day, and I haven't been to Dragon Cons in like a decade. And Dragon Con's for everyone, and I think I might try to give it another chance. Because, I do like Transformers. So there's other things that keep my interest. But I just can't make my mind up if I can do Chicago yet or not. I really want to. It's not the convention itself. It's the trip and the time off and all that. So, still debating on that one. That's not really that awesome of a thing to talk about, the realities of a cross-country trip. I mean, that's like, I think it took me 14 hours to get there in 14. That was pretty rough. Charlotte was great. That was like 4 hours away. I mean, I'm sure people from much further away were like, man, that was like 14 hours. Maybe I'll fly. I don't know. It's a year away. I got plenty of time to decide. Because, I love going to conventions. But the whole road trip part's starting to kind of wear on me, I think. I don't know. Maybe this year for vacation, I'll just actually take a vacation instead of conventioning. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, what else did I want to talk about before I went to Q&A? Every week I not every week, but I talk about a little bit of something else I kind of like as well. And video viewers, I'm holding the toy up here. Everyone knows I enjoy the Core toy line as sort of just kind of I like 99.9% of my toy collecting is Transformer. But that's not a fair number. 99% of my toy collecting is Transformers, and the other percent is random stuff I like Star Wars and Godzilla and whatever. I just kind of buy random toys with other stuff I like, while I buy a metric butt ton of Transformers. Well, Core, of course, falling into that. I really like G.I. Joe, and I buy a lot of G.I. Joe stuff. Core kind of falls into that, So, I'm having a whole lot of fun with the Core lately. And they have these Exo Suit toys out. They've been out on shelves since some summer, early fall here. I don't know about your listeners' areas. But they've been having these Exo Suit sets in the stores, one for the Core and one for the Curse, which is their current set of villains. And I bought the Curse's Exo Suit this past weekend, and it came with a figure of, the character's name is Troll, who I've been wanting to get a figure of. The weird thing with the Core is their packing is almost, they have like single figure packs, and then they have like these packs that have like 3 figures in them and like a minor vehicle, like a motorcycle or a little toy helicopter or something. And one of the figures will have like really limited articulation or whatever. And then they'll have these packs of vehicles or whatnot. Well, Troll, I've been wanting to get a figure of him, but he doesn't come in single packs. And I have a hard time buying the 3 packs because I'm like, there's always another one of the figures in the pack I'll already have. And I'm like, I don't really want another one of this guy. So a lot of times I'll wait because Core reuses their molds so much that I was figuring, I'll just get Troll in a different color set when he packs up in a pack I don't have. But I saw him in these Exo Suits. I was like, you know what? I want a Troll. I want an Exo Suit. So I bought it. And the Exo Suits are totally a hodgepodge of, the Curse one looks a lot like Gypsy Danger. Kind of, sort of. That's just pretty fun. Like I said, the Core, they're inexpensive figures. And the fact that you didn't pay a lot shows when you're playing around with the toy. But still, this is a pretty cool toy. And I think it's like $7. I really like him. He's standing here next to Robots in the Skies Fractured, the Deployer toy. And my Optimus here, my Red Optimus in a Minicon set is right next to him. That's really cool. I want to get that Sideswipe that came in the way of the Optimus. I just haven't bought him yet. I should. I was going to buy him about 2 weeks ago. I went to Toys R Us. I'd gotten about every month, being a rewards member, I get rewards points sent to me, like a $5 store credit, $10 store credit. It's really depending on what I bought. And I had $5 store credit there on my thing, and I was like, I'm going to go buy me that Sideswipe set. And I went in there, and they had the It's across the room here. That Minicon 4-pack that I've been looking for. So I went ahead and just got that with my store credit and paid the remainder. But I really need that size 5. These little Minicon packs with the armor are really cool. It's a lot of fun. I want more stuff like that. And where's my phone? I had my, oh, here it is. It's on the microphone, guys. For video viewers, you can see behind me there's some bookshelves with some disarray on them, and then of course some stacked up toy boxes and containers full of more Transformers than a sane person should have. The funny part is off camera there's another stack to the other side of the room. But I've got a disarray on the floor of boxes I haven't organized yet in this toy room, which would include straightening up those shelves. There's some more There's another shelf on the other side wall where I was going to put some toys on. I've just never really gotten around to doing it. So if I can't find something in here, it might be a week till I find it. The rest of the place is really nice. This is the room that's everything's in, and it kind of closes in on you. But let's go to the Q&A portion. Now, the Q&A question's an awesome part of being awesome. That thread where you ask those questions is exclusive to the Talk Transformers Facebook group. Now, if you guys have been listening to Being Awesome, you guys hear me talk about it so very much. And I'm telling you right now, you should join. But yeah, Talk Transformers is the absolute best message forum on the internet. And like I said, the internet is full of people like you. And no one's even bothered correcting me because they end up joining and having a ball. So search up on Facebook's Talk Transformers and join it. And when I pop up those threads, you can submit one. You can submit to the thread. I mean, that's if you don't contact me off thread and ask me something, but you guys know what I'm talking about. This week's question comes from my main man, Chris Six-Shot Perry. Now, Six-Shot is like YouTube reviews, and he has his own podcast called Transformers and Such. So you should really check out his stuff. I think he just, it's that Six-Shot, but it's Chris Six-Shot Perry. If you search him, you'll find him. Chris asks, in your view, which is the correct scale vehicle mode as the baseline or mass shifting? Huh. I don't think there is a correct one. I'll tell everyone right now, and I've said it a million times, I don't care about scale. I really don't. But I know a lot of people really do. And the thing is, I don't think there's any correct scale in Transformers. I just don't think there is. And the reason I'm saying is, like, the cartoon can't even keep up with scale. The cartoon can't even keep up with scale because you look at, no matter what cartoon, sometimes some dudes are a little bigger than they are in other episodes. I know a lot of the more modern masterpieces, they stick to a closer scale. I mean, the Bumblebee's MP10 and, the cars and stuff. And the regular toys, kind of all over the maps. There's not really much of a scale that's correct. I would say the closest, and when I say closest, it's a very big range of disbelief. You have to really suspend your disbelief to make it work, is the current Legends scale figures. And when I say current, as in we were calling them Commanders, and the ones we were calling Legends are now Legions, but sometimes the new Legends are called Commanders still, and sometimes the Legions are called Legends. So, those small guys used to come with a little guy, and now they sometimes do or don't come with a little guy. Those guys. The Titan Metroplex was intended to serve as a playset for those guys, and I'm pretty sure the upcoming Fortress Maximus Titan, as well as the Triptychon that will come out from the fan vote, I'm sure those will be to scale with Legends. And so if we're working for a city bot with the Legend class guys, and probably even the Legion ones, that's about as close to scale as I think it would get to accurate. The reason I say it's not exact, and that's because you have like a Legion Megatron turns into a tank. And there's both a Legion-sized and Legend Commander, larger little guy-sized Starscream. And the F-14 jet is a whole lot bigger than a semi-truck. So, and be quite honest with you, it'd be really big. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that it would be as big as the city, but like one of those roadways, it'd at least be as long as that. So, yeah, I think the Legends really are, Legion class, really are the closest we come to scale, and that's with a suspension of disbelief added into the mix. Now, in G1, Metroplex and Triptychon and stuff were to scale with mini-bots. And once again, that was with a suspension of disbelief, because Warpath would be quite bigger than a Porsche, you know? And even then, pushing around a little mini-bot on the little ramps and roads, you're like, wow, this is a small city. It's not even like a parking garage, you know? Like, it's just enough room for the car to go up and down on things. So, that's pretty close too. Now, the Micromaster bases, those are pretty to scale, but they're only pretty to scale with Micromasters. And depending on which fiction you read or watch, Micromasters, you know, a regular, say, Prowl, a regular Autobot car would turn into a car the size of the one you get in to go to work in. A Micromaster, now I've seen some fictional instances where they turn into a car the size of a normal car and then they shrunk down to a robot, to a tiny little robot. But most instances I've seen of them, they turn into a car about the size of a remote control car or whatever. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. They're probably only really to scale themselves, but those base playsets that were all over in the Micromaster era of the G1 timeline, it's so confusing to say these things. But when Micromasters were going on, those base playsets were pretty much to scale. You know, everything pretty much fit. Now, you could argue that, like, I forget its name, I think Skyhopper, the helicopter playset. Why is this helicopter? I mean, it's big enough so the guys could get in and drive it around, but you're like, how big is this helicopter? How big is it? I was going to do Jerry Seinfeld, but I just don't have it in me right now. Because you'd say, okay, if a Micromaster is about the size of a human, this helicopter would be the size of a normal helicopter. But it's bigger than my Optimus Prime toy. Scale doesn't really work in Transformer toys. It just doesn't work. You can kind of squint and look at the stuff and say, well, that works. I mean, you just kind of, yeah, maybe. But it's one of those things where, like, if you think about it too hard, you're like, yeah, that's not going to work. You know, these things are, as much as we like to pat ourselves on the back, the majority of them were made as toys first. You know, they're just like, yeah, it's something fun to play with. You know, don't think about it too hard. That's why Bruticus has a space shuttle for an arm that doesn't crush the rest of Bruticus. You know, why isn't the space shuttle the middle body component? And then it still would be unrealistic, but at least it would make a little more sense. You know, it's best not to really think about a lot of these things. And I'm not telling you, just look the other way or something. I'm just saying, toys don't always make sense. And even, like, say, a masterpiece or a higher price collector aimed toy, it's still made as a toy first, you know. So that doesn't always even scale up perfectly, you know. Because, you know, Bumblebee's made to scale next to the Autobot cars and, I guess, the MP10 Optimus. But I can put my Prowl in his Fair Lady Z. Yeah, that's the name of the car. Next to the Bumblebee Volkswagen. I'm like, nah, Bug's a little bigger than that. You know, it's still not perfect. So, I hope that answered your question, Chris Sixshot. And thanks for it. And once again, everybody, if you want to submit a question or whatever, that the Q&A thread pops up on Talk Transformers every so often, so please join. And while you're there, you can straight send me a message with a question if you want, if you don't want to wait for the thread. And that'd be cool. I'll put it in line in the queue. So yeah. Just like to thank everyone for listening, and being awesome is part of the Radio Free Cybertron network. You can find me and all the other shows at tfradio.net for shows and showtimes. I'm running out of breath again. This is getting frustrating. Being awesome is available Facebook and YouTube in video format, and everywhere on the internet in MP3 audio format. iTunes, Stitcher, download off the site, you name it. While you're on our site, checking out our shows and showtimes, please go through our Amazon links next time you need to buy something through Amazon. It's an easy way to support the network, basically help us cover our expenses for operating this behemoth without you paying anything extra. I mean, I gotta buy an HDMI switch for my TV. You know, one of those, because like the TV in our living room has like, I think 2 HDMI things. The cable box goes to one of them, and the other one's for video game machines. And right now we're swapping the cord if we want to play the Wii U or the PS4 or the Xbox, you know. So I need to buy one of those switches where I can just push 1, 2, or 3. And I won't buy a thing off Amazon. You know. And so I could go through our link, through our Amazon links, search it up, buy it, and pay anything extra, and it helps support the site. You know what I mean? So that's what we're asking for if you're helping. We'd really appreciate it if you could do that. I'm Rob. You can find me everywhere, your Twitters, you know, your Instagrams and so on, at RoboRobSpringer. And also, I've started a new blog up. You know, I was saying before I was using Tumblr for a blog, and I've kind of gotten a little lax on it and started using Instagram in the place of it, and my Instagram just kind of cross-posts to Tumblr. Well, I still want to kind of write stuff every once in a while, but I wanted a little more direction. So I started up a blog where I got it under the guise of me reviewing things, but it's really me just telling you about whatever's on my mind to tell you about. Like, the first entry is where I bought the new Snickers Crisper, and I just wanted to talk about it for a minute. So that's Rob Reviews. You can find it at reviewrob.blogspot.com. It'd be great if you guys could check it out. Well, thanks a lot for everyone listening, and I'll see you guys next time.
This has been Being Awesome with Rob Springer.